Nothing delivers comfort and joy quite like the unrivaled quality and taste of Omaha Steaks. This year, skip the holiday hustle and bustle and save 50% off gourmet gifts site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, get a $30 reward card when you shop early and score an extra $30 off with promo code HOLIDAY. With 5 generations of experience, they consistently deliver the world's best steak experience. And the gifting experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to deliver the perfect gift with thoughtfully curated gift packages starting at $89.99. From legendary steaks to mouth-watering desserts and more. Save 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $30 off with promo code HOLIDAY and a $30 reward card when you shop early. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $30 off with promo code HOLIDAY. Minimum purchase may apply.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds.
Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous 2-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass?" So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month.
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Hello, I'm Josh Hellman. Welcome back to another Just Films and That New Release Review. Hope you're well, and thank you very much for tuning in. Whilst I got your attention, before I crack on, if you could head on over to whatever app you're listening to this on, give us a 5-star rating or review, it'd be very much appreciated. Anyway, this time around, I'm going to be talking about Gladiator II. I will try and keep this as spoiler-free as possible, as I always do, but might touch on things that are featured in promo material and trailers and posters and, all that sort of stuff that is impossible to avoid in this day and age because we all sit on our phones all of the time. So if you don't want to know anything at all, then give this a listen after you've seen it. In terms of the plot, then quite difficult to do without spoiling it, but we follow on from the same world as the first one almost 20 years later. We focus on a young man who goes by the name of Hanno, played by Paul Mescal. He finds himself captured and thrown into the same gladiatorial world as Maximus does in the first one. Things unravel from there in terms of Hanno and who he really is and why he's so filled with rage and the need for revenge and so on and so forth. As ever, I'm going to take a look at this in the same sort of structure as the other hot episodes in terms of what I liked and what I didn't like, and then, let's get stuck in then. So, in terms of the likes then, I thought there was plenty there. I enjoyed it overall as a blockbuster experience. So first of all, it looks amazing. It looks really, really good. If you take the sort of groundbreaking elements of the first one, in terms of the fact they built Rome and the things they did after Oliver Reed passed away whilst it was being made and things like that, and then you add, a quarter of a century of development onto that, and that is pretty much what you get. So we're back in the world of this ancient Roman Empire and a Rome filled with the likes of bloodthirsty Colosseum spectators right through to grape-eating candlelit verandas where bourgeois Romans are having secretive clandestine conversations and things like that. So the production design, the set design, the editing, the music and the sound all work really well for a visceral and immersive and massive experience. Definitely if you're going to go and watch it, go and see this on the biggest screen you can, because this is a proper bombastic blockbuster of a film. Then in that as well, there's some really great action set pieces, plenty of variation and innovation in terms of how they work and how they keep you guessing, how they keep you engaged. So they really do the action. That really does keep you engaged and carries a lot of the film for me. The cast are all really good in it too. I think Paul Mescal does a good job of filling that position of brooding, handsome lead. I think he really smashes the action scenes. He's got a really good physical presence as well. So he is really, really good in this. And obviously, he had big shoes to fill in terms of Russell Crowe. But where he's a little bit different is he's almost as a character, a little bit more likable and light-hearted in places than Maximus and Russell Crowe. He's out for vengeance like Maximus is, but he does it whilst having a little bit more of a laugh. The rest of the cast all get their moments to shine too. So the likes of Pedro Pascal, Joseph Quinn, and of course Denzel Washington come in as these new characters that add some real colour into the world, alongside returning characters like Connie Nielsen and Jerick Jacobi as well. There's a lot more characters in this one than the first one, so it does help to really give colour and enrich that world and continue to build in it alongside the other things I mentioned, like how good the production design, set design, all that sort of stuff is. Speaking of carrying on with the world, the shadow of Maximus from the first one does very much hang over this, but I think for a large part they do use that to the film's strength in that they make him, he's become a legend in the time since the first one happened, so it's almost becomes a legend that Hanno, as a new gladiator, has to live up to, whether he wants to or not. So that almost meta layer almost says to you as the audience, we know this is a tough job because of the success of the first one. So we're going out of our way to point that out to you as a thematic device in the film. So I thought that worked quite well. But then on the other hand, that leads me nicely onto the other side of the gold denarii, shall we say. So yeah, in terms of the negatives, I'd say, as it does with the character of Maximus in the first one, the shadow of the first one looms large. So what I mean by that is I think they had a choice to make here, which is probably a bit of a catch-22. They could either emulate the first one and give us an imitation or try something new. And either way, they probably would have split opinions that they almost couldn't win. And I think the direction they went in terms of repeating elements of the first one, was probably the right way to go, but it does feel a little bit like a retread in places. And I wonder if at times they didn't fully commit one way or the other, so it leaves it all feeling a touch narratively muddled. And what I mean by that is, for the most part, it is a bit of a retread of the first one, so there are elements of, but then there are elements of the new characters and elements of the plot that left me wanting more. So I think they do forego some of those stronger elements, some of those stronger plot elements and character elements and development and things like that in terms of action. So a lot of the emotionality, it doesn't land, the emotional beats don't land that well, and it feels a little bit more generic. So it really doesn't feel like the quality of the first one, which you can't help comparing it to, isn't there as much. So for example, with Denzel Washington character, with his character, he's excellent in this. But the problem is he steals every scene he's in to such an extent that he almost sucks all of the interest out of the other characters as the film goes along. So, for example, without spoiling it, there's an element to Pedro Pascal's character around duality and his intentions and his character and what he wants to do that I found really, really interesting and quite tragic. But I wanted more of that and I didn't get it. Similarly, the twin emperor characters that you've got in there, they're framed as the villains for the large part of the film, but they don't show us why they're villainous. Rather, they fall into that trap of having them look and act weird and villainous without actually showing them doing anything. So they just, they come across in the same way as Commodus does in the first one, in that they are these highly, incredibly dislikable and hateable spoilt brats, but without the heft of Commodus in terms of what he does in the first film. So in trying to get away from them and make them different, they almost draw attention to the fact that they're the same, and I can't help but wonder if there are elements of multiple drafts here where they couldn't decide whether to give us more of the same or something new, so they sort of give us both or neither. Overall, look, it does feel like a little bit of a tribute act to the first one, and whilst I don't think it will live in as long in the memory as the first one, there's enough here to keep you entertained, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? I mean, are you not entertained, I suppose? So, as ever, listen, this is just my opinion. If you're interested, get out there, give it a watch, but do give it a watch on the biggest, loudest screen you can, because that is the best way to enjoy this film and the action that's in it. And make up your own mind. Give it a watch if you're interested. Thanks very much for listening. I'll see you next time. It's goodbye from me. Cheerio!
Selling a little or a lot? Shopify helps you do your thing however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit a million orders stage. Shopify is there to help you grow. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout. 36% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms. Because businesses that grow, grow with Shopify. Get a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/work. Shopify.com/work.
Bombas presents unsolicited gifting advice. Number 1, if they say not to get them anything, get them something. 2, underwear is a great gift, just not for your boss. And 3, those absurdly soft Bombas socks and slippers you've been eyeing for yourself, they'll love those. And the fact that for every item you purchase, another is donated to someone who needs it, they'll love that even more.
Go to bombas.com/ACAST and use code ACAST for 20% off your first purchase. That's bombas.com/ACAST, code ACAST.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.